Hey everybody, welcome back. My name's Chris, and this is a YouTube channel, Daily Reflections with Chris, where we talk recovery, we share our experience, strength, and hope. Mostly it's just me right now, but you're always more than welcome to share something on your comments, something you want to talk about. Maybe you want to reach out to me. I'm on Facebook, mostly, and on Instagram. But my handles are it's two different handles. So you can reach me at Facebook. I'm at Chris Contreras. Or you can always leave me a message here in a comment, maybe some particular topic you want to talk about. Something outside of the Daily Reflections, which is what we do here. We read out of Daily Reflections and we just kind of share our experience, strength behind it. Excuse me, I can't talk today. And other thoughts, because we could start somewhere and then other thoughts come up, probably more pressing issues that we need to talk about. So we'll get started. Today is January the 6th, and our entry is titled The Victory of Surrender. We perceive that only through utter defeat are we able to take our first steps towards liberation and strength. Our admissions of personal powerlessness finally turn out to be the firm bedrock upon which happy and purposeful lives may be built. That's out of the 12 and 12, page 21. When alcohol influenced every fact of my life, when bottles became the symbol of all my self-indulgence and permissiveness, when I came to realize that by myself I could do nothing to overcome the power of alcohol, I realized I had no recourse except surrender. In surrender, I found victory over my selfish self-indulgence, victory over my stubborn resistance to life as it was given to me. When I stopped fighting anybody or anything, I started on the path to sobriety, serenity, and peace. Wow. So this particular book is written by other people in Alcoholics Anonymous, other people in recovery, for people in recovery. And they reference different literature we have in this particular case. They reference the 12 and 12, which is it's not, I don't know if it was meant to be that, but to me it's been my companion to the big book, right? The big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, the big blue book. So there's the 12 and 12, which to me is the companion, and I use it to get deeper into the steps, to get deeper, a little bit more understanding of what that step could look like and how it could possibly take form, not only in my life, but in my recovery as I work through the 12 steps. So this is the first month, and this particular book focuses on either the first step on the first tradition on the first month, second step or second tradition on the second month, and so on and so on. So we're talking a lot about step 1, which says we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Well, in our literature, it always says, man, who wants to do that? Who wants to admit complete defeat? Who wants to surrender, especially surrender to a program we hardly know anything about, or maybe we've heard really horrible things about it, or maybe we saw other people try it and they still out there getting drunk. Why would we surrender to a program? And as a matter of fact, I've been on my own for all my life, taking care of myself. Why all of a sudden I need you to take care of me, right? Just a bunch of little thoughts. Maybe you got a lot of money. I did it when I got here, but some people, they have a lot of money. They're like, no, I'm not gonna surrender. I'm not ready. I'm not homeless yet. I'm not divorced yet. I'm not broke yet. There's pretty people, beautiful, gorgeous people that come into the program and says, man, I'm not ugly yet, right? I'm not fat yet. Look at me. So there's a couple of things that can deter us from our focus here about the truth. What is the truth, man? I mean, are you dominated by alcohol? What happens to you when you take that first drink? Do you become somebody else, somebody you don't like? Is it still cute for you to get totally drunk? What are your family saying? What is your family saying, right? And hopefully, if you have a problem, your family's made you quite aware of it. Or maybe your friends, maybe your wife or your husband says, "Hey, babe, I mean, man, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed when we go out because you take one drink and you start fighting with everybody, or you're hitting on my cousins." All that little stuff are telltale signs that we probably have lost control over alcohol, right? Alcohol gets into our system and it does whatever it wants with us. It does whatever it wants with our lives. And then we have this attitude that we're going to do whatever we want. I'm not powerless. I'm powerful. I can do this. And if you're not alcoholic like I was, then you probably could do it. You probably could still stop. And if that's the boat you're in, I would say, man, stop now. Like, help yourself and don't cross that imaginary line. That imaginary line that I crossed, I don't know when, but I did, to where I could no longer stop on my own. My willpower wasn't enough. My grandmother asking me not to do it wasn't enough. My mother praying for me was, and my other grandmother too. That, there was a lot of stuff that they were doing behind the scenes that I didn't know, because the stuff that they were doing in front of me and asking me to like cut it out already, none of that was working. Even if it meant not talking to them, even if it meant me getting mad at them, even if it means, man, I stormed out, slammed doors. I'm like, who does that, man? That's your mother, man. She birthed you, shit. Like, who does that? Well, I do that. I do that under the influence of alcohol, and I lose total respect, not just for my family, but for everybody, for myself even. Right? So when it got so bad, when it got so hard for me, and even then, like, I was doing things that you would think would be my bottom, and I would live through that and be like, oh, it's not that bad. And I would go out and continue my way of life, and then it would get worse. And I'd be like, man, it's still not that bad. I'm really not homeless. I mean, I'm sleeping on my mom's couch. I have zero money. I wear the same clothes every day, but I'm not homeless. I'm okay. No, folks, I wasn't okay, but I couldn't see it yet. And it wasn't until I came into, the rooms of AA, court ordered, of course. I didn't come because I realized one day, man, I need to stop. Some people do. That's not my story. I came in here because the court said, we don't know if you have a problem or not, but we think these meetings will really help you. Plus, it's mandated now. In some cases, they mandate you to do certain, community hours. They call it community service. You got to pay. Now you got to pay a surcharge. I didn't have to do that, thank God. Lawyer fees, court fees, damage fees. If you damaged any city property or anybody's property, you got to pay for it. Hospital bills, medical bills for anybody who was injured because of you, because of me. So I had to pay doctor's bills that were not mine, but they were my responsibility. And so I, was just like, oh my God. And then they took my license away, so I couldn't drive. I had to go in the bus. I was really like, I had lost all my complete freedom, all my freedom. And, it didn't become clear right away that I had a problem. I was still drinking, knowing that I would go to jail, knowing that I could get drug tested or piss tested, knowing all those things, knowing that my license got suspended. To me, it was like, oh, in 6 months, I'm gonna get it back. I can take the bus. Ain't no big deal here. And I continued with my attitude. I continued with my drinking. And even though on the outside, I was in denial, seriously, big time denial of my lifestyle, how bad I gotten, because I could see it and just brush it off. But on the inside, I was dead. I was dying. I was like, man, hopeless, and just thinking, man, I need a break. I need a way out of this, man. Man, maybe I just need to move. Maybe I just need to go to a different city. Maybe I just need to change jobs. Maybe I just need to get rid of this girlfriend. Maybe I need to move out again on my own. And I would say, yeah, maybe. And then I would get drunk and totally forget about those dreams, right? We talked a little bit about that yesterday. So it wasn't until I came into these rooms and I heard people talk about it and getting honest about where I was emotionally and spiritually, and how broken I was, and how upset I was, and how mad I was at God, and how, how much shame that I had with me, how much, and this self-indulgence that they talk about, I did that to numb all those feelings, or to put that, to store that stuff away just so long enough so I knew how to handle it, and coming into these rooms and just really listening, because I wouldn't say much in the beginning. I mean, not like right now, I talk all the time, but I was really just at a loss for words, just not really sure where I was in life, or what I was doing there, or what was gonna come of it. I'm sorry. I have 2 dogs. They bark at everything, and we live by the highway, so if there's a big truck passing by, they'll bark at it. So anyway, so I wasn't really, sorry for the distraction. I wasn't really honest before I got here. And then the longer I stayed here, I started to get honest. And I said, man, I don't want to do this. I don't know if this is bottom. I don't know if this was, I mean, and I would hear that my bottom was nothing compared to the bottom that other people's had. I mean, people went to the state hospital. Have you been to the state hospital? I visited there one time, and when I saw what was going on there, I was like, I don't want to be here. But if I kept drinking, that's where I was going to be. And some of my friends did end up there at the state hospital. You know, they passed on now, but some of them have gone to the bitter end. Some very close people in my life have gone to the bitter end. Some of them have gotten killed. Some of them have killed themselves. Some of them are in prison right now. Right? This is not, this is for real, for real. When I got honest about it, when I was able to get just a tiny bit, just honest enough, just that little, to talk about that little window, that little crack, just when I was able to get my, just enough honesty to that little crack, that's when it got wider and wider, and I was able to get more honest and more honest, and the more honest I got, the easier it was for me to surrender. Chris, your life, it sucks, man. Say something. And then I finally said, man, you're right. It sucks. I hate it here. I hate this life. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to stop drinking. I don't have drinking. I don't have any money. I'm homeless. Man, I don't want to do this anymore. Man, every time I relive that experience, I feel like I have another spiritual awakening. Like right now, just telling you that story, just being in that moment again, I felt something just flow into my body. Just something right there, just kind of like hugging me and telling me it's gonna be okay. And I remember my very first spiritual experience. I talk about it a lot because I've never had one. It was my very first one, and that's the one that, man, when I woke up from that, I wasn't asleep actually. I was walking, and I had my very first. Okay, I'll tell you the story. Here we go. You ready? Okay, here it is. Probation, got all these classes I gotta do, all these groups, right? I have a lot of things to do because I've lost my freedom from behind my drinking and my car accident and probation. So anyway, so they're like, I had to go to this class every, I don't even know what day of the week it was, but so I was at this, it was held in a church, so I was in this church, in this classroom, and the thought came to me like, man, I wanna call my girlfriend, right? And at that time, and she was like, yeah, we're all here. We got this booze. We got some stuff. And man, we're all ready. We're going to start. I'm like, what? I'm like, nah, man. No, you can't be doing that. Please. I was like, shh. So I called her back. I was like, what are you doing? You cannot be doing, can you just, I was angry. I was angry because they were doing it and I wasn't doing it. Why did I have to stop and not them? So kept getting angrier and angrier. She kept hanging up on me. So finally I knocked on the pastor's door and I said, sir, real nice, right? Sir, would you mind if I borrow your phone? He's like, no, absolutely. Because back then there was payphones and I had somehow ran out of quarters or didn't have enough for the payphone or something happened, right? So I bought the phone, and then I was angry. And I was like, you better not hang up on me, blah, 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 you effing this, and I'm gonna blah, blah, blah. And after like 2 minutes of blah blah blahing, beep beep being, right? The pastor knocks on the door, and I go, oh, yes sir. He says, can you not cuss in this church? And I said, sure. And I told my friend, I gotta go. And I had, there's a lot of stuff that I had already did that I never said I was gonna do, right? Like a lot of things, some that I can tell you what they are, but I'm not, but I had done a lot of things. And one of them I told you about, I stole $20 from my mom. That was like, man, that was, oof, it still kind of stings a little bit. But the other one was cussing in a church. I said, man, I've done, in my whole list of philosophical convictions and morals and all this whole list of things that I wanted to live my life by, I had already scratched off everything that I said I would never do wrong. And cussing in the church was like the last one. It's like, you cuss in a church, you're dead, right? You're going to hell for real this time. And when the pastor asked me that, man, I felt like a wave of like disappointment, like a strong wave of disappointment. And I remember walking out, and I had already made the decision to stay sober, but I was struggling, right? Obviously, I was struggling because a lot of things were not going my way. It's like, when I get sober, that doesn't mean everybody else is going to get sober. That's a misconception, folks, okay? So I had a wave of just like grand disappointment over me, and I walked out, and everybody's like, Chris, where are you going? And I was like, I'll be back. And I remember walking out of that church. I was walking towards the bus. I was like, gonna go home, and I was gonna go handle this, right? And on my way walking up the hill with all this frustration, all of a sudden, all this anger, all this resentment, all this powerlessness. That's what it was. It was powerlessness. And I remember walking. I said, God, there's gotta be a better life than this. And just like right now, I felt that wave of heat, warmness just go in, all the way down. My knees started shaking. It went all the way to my feet, my toes. And then I came back up, and I remember feeling my knees shaking again. And it came back up. And I remember opening my eyes and just thinking my life will never be the same again. All of a sudden, the sky was blue. The clouds were parting. My attitude, I felt like soft. I was like, oh my God, man, I'm gonna go to my group. I'm gonna get a sponsor. I'm gonna start working the steps. I'm gonna really work the steps. I crossed the street. Like, I was like, I had a bus pass. I was like, cause I was looking around. I was like, man, do I have money to even get on this bus? And I was like, oh, I have a bus pass. I get on the bus, and the guy's like, hey, and I'm like, hey. And I get on, I'm feeling good. I'm like, oh, what's happening here? What's happening to me? Right? So then I get downtown, and in that spot where I used to lay there, drunk, without money, coming down from some drug, just wishing that I could be the little man with this lunchbox telling everybody hi. In that same space, that's where the bus dropped me off. It dropped me off right there, and I was like, man, you know what? I have another quarter. So then I call there's a payphone there, right? Back then, I didn't have a cell phone or a pager, nothing like that. I had no money, right? So I put money I found money for the payphone, which previously, hour before, I didn't have money, right? That's how I ended up in the pastor's office. So I get this money. I call on the phone. I'm like, hey, what's going on? It wasn't my girlfriend no more. It was my girlfriend's sister, right, Maria. Maria answered the phone. She's like, oh, nothing. I'm just cleaning up. And I'm like, you're cleaning up? Why are you cleaning up? She's like, I don't know. Everybody just got up and left. They said they're going to go somewhere else. I said, what? She goes, yeah, everybody just got up. They said that they didn't want to be here no more. They got up and they left. They took everything. They took the alcohol. They took the drugs. They took the cigarettes. I was like, well, what are you doing there? And she says, man, they left a mess. Man, these people, they just come and disrespect your house and leave all this mess. She said, so I'm cleaning up for you. I said, you are? She's like, yeah, I'm cleaning up. She's like, I'm almost done. I'm almost done sweeping, and then I'm going to mop, and then there's a few dishes. So it should be clean by the time you get there. Man, I got home, and I was like, first of all, I was in awe. Like, how does that happen? Like, I was just yelling at them. They were like, we ain't going nowhere. We're waiting for you to get here. Hurry up. And I was frustrated because I can't do that. And all of a sudden, my whole entire life, I feel like I kept like getting wild. I was like, wow. In my head, I was like, man, how does this happen? How does this even begin to happen? That a power greater than myself would come into my life, not just in the little, but in everything, in my mind, in my body, in my heart, in my soul. And in the life around me with my family and my friends. The people closest to me, that they would always, that he would have, that a power greater than myself would go in and tell them, hey, y'all gotta go. When nothing else could move them, that power could move them and did move them. I remember getting home and it was quiet, it was peaceful, it was clean. Maria had already left. She even took the trash out. I was like, wow. And I remember looking around and just thinking like, wow, my life's never going to be the same again. And it never has been. Since that day, my life has never been the same again. It hasn't even been that dark like it was before in that moment. Has horrible things happened? Yeah. I lost my two favorite people in the world. I didn't find it necessary to drink over that. I've lost relationships. I lost jobs. I moved from San Antonio to Austin. I mean, there's things that have happened. I have gone through periods where I haven't made enough to eat, but I found a way out. There's always been help. My life is like, I mean, I have creativity in my mind today like I never had it before. Man, I have so many great ideas in this head of mine. I write them down. I do them. This particular channel is one of them. Do I do them right away? No, because sometimes I pray about it and sometimes it takes me a while, but sometimes I do them right away and I think, wow, what a wonderful way to live. My pastor always says this. I agree with it. She said, a miracle is easy to get, but it's hard to keep. That miracle that I got was easy compared to other things that I've had to work for in my life. It was, man, all I had to do was ask and I received it. I received my miracle. How do you keep it? How do I keep it? Folks, I had to do the work. I had to take the step. I had to do the 12 steps. Maybe you're not in a 12-step program. Maybe you're not alcoholic. Maybe you got other things going on. Guess what, folks? If you go to your church, it's called, some people call it, I don't know. I can never remember what it's called. Oh, it's Celebrate Recovery. That's what it's called. Some people call it Celebrate Recovery. The church I did it with call it Peeling the Onion. It was a PTO based on the Celebrate Recovery, based on the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. So there is other avenues that you could get it through. You can get it through 12-step program, your church, maybe community center, maybe do some service work, get out there, Habitat for Humanity. There's a lot of, plant a tree if you want, go clean the ocean, do something that will help you get unstuck from wherever you're stuck. For me, it took a really big spiritual experience. I mean, before that, nothing could change this boy, nothing could turn me into a man. And now, I mean, like, I have a really good life, and I have hope. I have hope that where I am today is not where I'm gonna be. And instead of me looking at it like, instead of me being focused on like, man, I don't got enough today, I can say, man, I got plenty, and I'm gonna get plenty more. It's not the final destination. It's a journey. And I'm really grateful that a lot of the things that I talk about are not stuff that I was born with. I had to be taught those things. I had to learn a lot about myself. I had to learn about alcoholism. I had to learn about the allergic reaction to alcohol. I had to learn about who is Chris? Who is this dude? What is he about? What is he like? What does he don't like? What does he want? What does he don't want? And all that stuff it's a result of just doing the work. So my hope and my prayer is that you will find what your avenue is. Hopefully, I'm rooting that it's not in drugs. I'm rooting that it's not in alcohol. I will say this, this could be your bottom. Today can be your bottom. You don't have to go any lower. You don't have to feel any worse to do something about your life. You can start right now. Right now. As soon as, don't even wait to get off. Start thinking right now. What you gonna do, man? Where you gonna go? Who are you gonna call? Right? Maybe you gotta go try it a few more times. Maybe you do gotta get lower. But if you are anywhere close to where I used to be, folks, had I stood out there just a little bit longer, I would have ended up in the state hospital. Because that's the last thing on the list. Of all the things that I said that I didn't want to be when I was a kid. I don't want to be this. I don't want to drink. I don't want to drug. I don't want to drop out. I don't want to do anything. And I did them all. I drank, I drug, I dropped out. Got married, got divorced. I did all those things, right? The only thing left on that list is to make it to the state hospital. And if I go out and drink and drug today, I'll scratch that off. That's where I'll end up. It's the only place I haven't gone. I've gone to jail. I've had near-death experiences. I've gone to hell. And that would be the next for me. I don't want to go there. So I'll keep coming back. I hope you'll keep coming back. If this video didn't work for you, find one that does. Find a church that works. Find a program that works for you. Find something, but don't stay stuck, man. You have options today. You have a decision. This is your life. And if you want to continue to live it horribly, then go ahead. But if you don't, man, and I hope you don't, I pray that you'll find help, that you will get unstuck. Find something that works for you. If you're interested in the details, my pastor is Real Talk Kim. I'm in 12-step recovery. I go to Alcoholics Anonymous. My home group is Grupo Montobles in Austin, Texas, 4410 Norwood Street. I use the basic text, Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, also the 12 and 12. I am the bilingual chair, Southwest Texas Area 68, Panel 72, if you know what that is. It's just a little bit about my bio. That's it. I've never written a book or anything. This is my first YouTube channel. This is my first shot at it. So that's just a little bit about me, in case you were wondering. So my name is Chris, and I've been doing this for a while, and I'm really grateful to be sharing this with you. Hopefully it helped you. If you think somebody might need a message like this, will you please share it with them? Would you just please share it? It doesn't have to be on Facebook or nothing. Just copy the link and text it to them, or share it with them, or watch it with them. I would love to share with others if you think it would help. All right, well, it's been a long one today. Thank you for hanging with me, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.